Well, welcome back to video number 4 in the series on more SQL. We ended last time talking about some of the joins, both inner joins and outer joins, that can be used in SQL, and we'll begin this session discussing aggregate functions. So let's begin. Aggregate functions are used to summarize information from multiple tuples into a single tuple summary. Grouping is used to create subgroups of tuples before summarization. Grouping and aggregation are required in many database applications, and we'll introduce their use in SQL through examples. A number of built-in aggregate functions exist: count, sum, max, min, and average. The count function returns the number of tuples or values as specified in the query. The sums function, max, min, and average can be applied to a set or multi-set of numeric values and return, respectively, the sum, maximum value, minimum value, and average of those values. These functions can be used in the select clause or in a having clause. The functions of max and min can also be used with attributes that have non-numerical domains, if the domains have a total ordering among one another. If we want to get the preceding function values for employees of a specific department, for example, the research department, we can write query 20, where the employee tuples are restricted by the where clause to those employees who work for the research department. Let's take a look at a couple of these functions. Query 20. Find the sum of the salaries of all employees of the research department, as well as the maximum salary, the minimum salary, and the average salary in this department. To begin with, we use our select clause to choose the aggregate functions that we want to use: sum salary, max salary, min salary, and average salary. We select the tables that we want to use with the from clause, employee table and the department table. Also notice in this example that we're using that approach to joining the two tables together in the from clause itself using this join operation. Join on department number equal D number. And then we issue our criteria in the where clause, D name equal research. What this query will give us is the total amount of salary in the employee table for the people in the research department. It'll show us the highest salary in the employee table for the people in the research department, the minimum salary, and the average salary in that order. Query number 21 and 22 retrieve the total number of employees in the company and the number of employees in the research department. Here's the query 21. Select count. Notice the count aggregate function. Count open paren asterisk, asterisk being used to represent all of the tuples, from employee. So this will simply count the number of records in the employee table. Query 22, select, and it's also counting all the records from the employee table for everybody that's in the research department. Notice that down here we join the two tables together with the where clause, D no equal D number, whereas up here we join the two tables together in the from clause using a join on operation. Here the asterisk refers to the rows or tuples, so count asterisk returns the number of rows in the result of the query. We may also use the count function to count values in a column rather than tuples, as in this example. Query 23. Count the number of distinct salary values in the database. Notice the instruction now. Count the number of distinct salary values in the database. And the query goes select, count, open paren, distinct, salary, close paren, from employee. Now, if we write count open paren salary instead of count open paren distinct salary in 23, then duplicate values won't be eliminated. However, any tuples with null for salary will not be counted. In general, null values are discarded when aggregate functions are applied to a particular column or attribute. Well, that was a pretty good start to aggregate functions. In fact, we haven't discussed a mystery word, so why don't we make aggregate function our mystery word for this video? So let's go ahead and take a break here, submit your mystery word, go out and check your knowledge on the material covered here, and when you're ready, come on back and we will proceed to discussing more of the aggregate functions and group buying, having, and so on.